Hello and welcome to this eCapital demonstration of SPSS and Cognos Analytics. For this demonstration, we'll be using SPSS data to evaluate Major League Baseball player value, and we'll be doing three things. First, we'll be using this data to assess current player value. Then we'll be using this data to project future player value. And lastly, we're going to make data-driven decisions based upon the findings. The first thing that we'll predict is what we believe a Major League Baseball free agent is worth based upon his prior performance in the league. Visualizations that you're looking at right now have been built within Cognos Analytics using SPSS data. And I tried to build this dashboard and these reports as if I was a general manager for a baseball team. So I'll need to determine, using this data, what players I can add via free agency that can provide me value for my team. If I look at the graph on the left, as a general manager, I can easily see which teams have been the most active in the free agency market in terms of dollars. If I want to see the players that teams are signing, I can click on the bar chart, for example the Mets, and I can see that the Mets didn't sign very many players, but the players that they signed were definitely expensive. Let's look at an individual player signing, Neil Walker. He was signed for $17.2 million, and that's what he was actually paid in 2017. The annual projection, that comes from SPSS. This projection uses Walker's past performance and players in free agency to develop a projected dollar amount. And if we compare the annual salary and the annual projection, I can see that there's a difference of almost $3.5 million, meaning that Neil Walker was overpaid by the Mets by $3.5 million. I can also see that Yoenis Cespedes was overpaid by $8.5 million. This dashboard tab is going to evaluate all the free agents that have signed contracts to this point by their age. In the graph on the left, the bars that are colored white are bad, and the bars that are colored green are good. I can see from the chart that the contracts that were signed by 31-year-olds were collectively the most overpaid free agents. Clicking into the 31-year-old graph, I can see that there are 3 contracts classified as good, and more than twice as many contracts classified as bad. The next 2 dashboard tabs focus on projecting what a player's value will be in the future. SPSS is projecting a statistic called WAR, which stands for wins above replacement. The higher WAR value, the more valuable that player is to his team. Now the graph above summarizes the WAR value for each team. The WAR statistic, in this instance, looks to do a good job of determining which teams will be good versus which teams will be bad. On the far left of the graph, you can see teams like the Indians, Cubs, and Astros. Well, the Astros won the World Series this year, and the Cubs and the Indians were in the World Series last year. WAR is a popular statistic among general managers, so let's go through an example of how they might utilize it. If I was looking at the Marlins organization, I could see that their second baseman was generating 4.8 in the value of WAR. And what that means is the Marlins second baseman is winning his team 4.8 more games than a replacement player at second base would. On the other side of the coin, if I'm the Marlins and I look at my third base position, that third baseman has a .02 negative WAR value. He's losing you games. So it would be my job to go out and try to find somebody else to play third base because he's losing you games. Thank you for watching this video on visualizing SPSS data within Cognos Analytics. For more information, please contact eCapital Advisors.